All right, let's bring him in now. Sean McGuire of Nesson.com. S-Mac, how we doing, my man?
I'm great, George. How are you guys today?
Doing good. I know you're excited. We're talking golf. Boston Common TGL made their debut. First off, first things. You know, everyone's asking about it, but those that don't know TGL, what is it? What does it stand for? How does it go down? How are you liking it?
Explain it.
So it's a technology-infused golf league, and Boston Common Golf is the home team, I guess. Rory McIlroy, Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama. Those are the guys on Boston Common, and so they just got started last night. First match, I should say. They were the last team to debut, but it was. I'm not just saying this, like, I truly was very entertained. Like, I didn't know what to think going in. When you first hear about it, I was, I guess, excited. It's a new thing, but certainly, like, reading some of the rules and, doing some research on it, it was like, is this going to be confusing or strange or what? And it certainly exceeded my expectations. It was, I didn't turn it off. And it was like a combination of, energy and excitement, and the energy felt authentic. I've watched a handful, minutes sparingly of the first few weeks, and the energy wasn't there. It also, the first three matches of the season, the finals were 9-2, 12-1, and 4-0.
Wow.
Obviously a 4-3 sort of match is a much different animal, but the energy was authentic and the entertainment kind of followed that. So I really was engaged and entertained.
I caught a few holes I was telling you on TV. I was confused at times, but I thought television-wise it seemed to be a really cool product, and I'm sure if you're there, it's probably even lit. But I guess my question to you is, what has been the fan response to it? Because I was looking around and it seemed like everyone liked it. I didn't see any confusion on my timeline.
Yeah, I think when you're talking specifically yesterday, a lot of the stuff I saw, and these are like, golf media personalities, influencers, whatever you want to say. A lot of the engagement that I saw was glowing, and a lot of it was based on last night's match, because it was, a lot of people called it the best match of the season, and it obviously helps. You have the founding fathers. You have Tiger Woods against Rory McIlroy going last night. And again, I really can't stress this enough. I know it's probably obvious, but the fact that it was like a competitive match, a competitive score, it makes it so much different. I mean, you talk about a 12-1 match, like everyone's tuned out of that. It's just not as interesting. The players are tuned out of it, and in turn, the fans and the viewers are tuned out of it. So I think a lot of the reception that I saw yesterday specifically was really positive.
Yeah, it was 4-3. It was a final in overtime. And what I caught at the end, Sean, is like, I don't know what's going on. Tiger's about to putt. A flag is thrown, but everyone's saying the hammer. I wish it was a real hammer.
A hammer.
But what I understand is that it turns that hole from 1 point into 2. Every hole's worth a point. If Tiger missed it, then Boston Common would have won, because they would have gotten the 2 points. But Tiger got it, and he Gronk spikes the golf ball, and they go to the shot of the crowd. And I'm like, I would like to go see this in person.
Yeah, for sure.
It is like the Phoenix Open meets high-level golf when it comes to skill. And I think that's what's great. I don't love golf on TV. I do like it in person, especially the high tournaments, the high-stakes majors. But, explain the hammer, explain the scoring system, because I loved it. But, I bet people are still confused. And and also, I guess, hammer on that. Not pun intended.
Pun intended.
But hammer home that part of the electric atmosphere. That's why. That's what got me into it. It's an electric atmosphere. It looks pretty sick.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that point, because there was lighthearted trash talking, and some guys, I don't know, busting balls. Maybe that's the way to put it. It was like you going out with your friends and playing golf, and you just kind of rib each other. And there was some of that. That Tiger moment when he spiked it like that. That was different. That was cool. That was like, okay, these are fierce competitors that do not want to lose. And I thought that was really cool. Just so, and to answer your question about the hammer, I love the hammer. I would say let's do some more of it, because essentially it heightens everything, right? It adds the pressure to the shot. In this case, Tiger's putt. It heightens the stakes, and it forces teams to kind of be strategic when it comes to, I don't know, match management, game management, however you want to put it. But essentially, when you throw it, if the team accepts it, that means that they're going for it. So then that, if they, as you mentioned, George, Tiger's putt was essentially worth 2 points because Boston Common would have been granted 2 points if he missed that. Yeah. If he said, no, I'm not going to accept this, then they concede the hole. And at that point, what the score was, I believe it was 3-2. There was 2 holes remaining. It was on hole 13 out of 15. So, that's a pretty pivotal point. If you concede that, you tie it up with 2 holes left. So he makes that putt. He goes crazy. His teammates go crazy, and you kind of get, Keegan Bradley and Rory, tipping their hat like, shit, he made it. He did it. So, I thought that was like such a cool moment. And the hammer, when I was listening to the broadcast last night, it doesn't sound like the hammer was used all that much in the opening matches. Again, 9-2, 12-1. It really doesn't make all that much sense at that point. Yeah. But they used it early and often. Keegan threw it in the first hole. It was thrown again on the second hole. And it just it's like the possession arrow in a basketball game, right? If you throw it, the other team gets it next. If you throw it, so that sort of thing. So I just think it was really cool. It's a cool aspect of the game, of the sport. And that, again, that's like one of those things that when I first read this, when I'm reading this off a screen online, I'm like, what is going on here? But it's just kind of like when you watch it, it makes sense, and it definitely adds to it.
Yeah, that was it. It's like when I heard about it, that they're driving into a screen. How entertaining can that be? But then you see like the approach to the hole from that point on. You see the stakes. You see how big the crowd is, like the in-person influence. Yeah. Because also when you read about it, you think it's like, just in a room somewhere. No, it's down in Florida, big screens, big lights. It's a party atmosphere. I think it's great. Hey, Sean, appreciate you stopping by, man. Talk some Boston Common golf, some TGL as well. As the season goes on, we'll bring you back on. Let's talk more of this as season develops.